Yay! We are live. I'm so excited. Amber. Amber.
Hello. Hi. Thank you.
Hi.
I've never been live before, but thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you.
I love that so much. I love that so much. Oh my gosh. Okay, so side note, like this is a totally side note. So Amber, I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna jump in with like Amber's story and all the things, but I'm just laughing at the fact that we're both in our car.
We are absolutely both in our cars.
We had set this up and we're like our times had shifted and it was really exciting. I was like, okay, well, can you do this time and this time and this time? And I have to move it. And she's like, yeah, well, this time would be better. I'm like, sounds good. AKA we're both in the car.
It's busy mom life things.
I know. We just gotta figure it out and do what we gotta do. So I just want to acknowledge you for taking the time to be here today. Absolutely love you. And I'm excited to share your story. I think that's the biggest thing that I'm like most excited about because I mean, we have our one-on-one calls, right? Like inside Chaseland Fitness, and we talk about
Yeah.
stuff and like we've been in each other's life for like a year now. And I'm just excited to share your story with like everybody. So, okay, let's dive in. Dive in. Okay. So first, like, who are you? Like, what give me the 10-second bio about who you are, like, kind of give us the rundown.
Okay. I'm Amber and I am a mom. First, I'm a mom and I'm a wife, and I just turned 30 a few weeks ago. And so, I really, I have been on some sort of health journey for the last 8 years. And that's all well and great, except I never hit my goal. And so here I am, and just really trying to create a life of health, not only for myself, but for my family, for my daughter. I have a daughter who's 5. She looks up to me. You're a mom. They see and copy everything that we do. And I want to make sure that I'm modeling the best things for her so that she's not in a situation in her life that I have found myself in, and struggling with her relationship with food, struggling with weight, and all of the things that come along with that. So, I'm a mom first and foremost, but I'm also a woman who really is just, it's very important to me to live the healthiest life I can. We only get one of them, and I want to be healthy. I want to feel good. And I also, like most people, want to look in the mirror and be really happy with what I see, and that doesn't mean the quote unquote perfect body, but that does mean not hating where you're at. And so that's why I'm here, because I just, it's important to love ourselves, and I haven't felt a bunch of that in the last few years. So it's time to start doing more for ourselves and our health, and for our families' health and well-being as well.
I love it. So, how did we meet, Amber? What's
Okay.
our story?
So, God, it's been a year and a half, a little over a year. And we met
Yeah.
in ALA. We met in a leadership program that we both went through. And I remember walking in and being so nervous, having no idea what to expect, honestly. I was in a totally different season of my life. And I just remember seeing Chase full of energy, ready to just like, this is what we're doing. You need to be here and you need to be here. And like, we're going to just make it happen. And I was like, holy shit, this lady has more energy than I probably have in my entire body. And I want some of that. And, going through that process, you really are just such a powerful energy source, and we really hit it off right away. We went through our program together and we graduated together, and it was great, and we made a ton of memories. But we also have stayed in touch over the last year after our graduation, and really connected, like, on our kids, on being healthy. And not only do I know you personally now, but I watch you on Facebook, and you are such a force. And every time I see you, you just bring so much life and energy into what you're doing and the women that you work with, and breathing so much life into us. And so I don't know anybody who wouldn't want to surround themselves with people like that. And so, you know, we met during a leadership program, but we've really just become good friends. And so when I had the opportunity to jump in this bandwagon, I went full force.
I love it. And it's funny because when you talk about that, I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, I'm pretty sure because I'm a front row type of person. Like
Yep,
I'm
you
like, give
sure
me the front row
are.
so I don't get distracted and so I
Yeah,
can be like laser vision.
yeah.
And it was you had sat like you had came up front, but we went on break and we came back in, and then next thing you know, like you were sitting right next to me and I was sitting right next to Tammy, and I was like, oh, looky here. And it's so fun to like look back. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
Amber, of course Amber was sitting right next to me.
of
Absolutely
course,
love it.
totally made sense. And now a year later, like it would happen that way. It
Love
would.
it. Absolutely love it. Okay, so let me like kind of explain like why are we on this call today? So number one, guys, like of course you hear a little bit about our story, where we've been, like kind of how we met. But I think the biggest cool thing, Amber actually joined the Chaseland Fitness program back in November, like the end of November. I had did a mini little like Black Friday deal, and she was like, you know what? Raising my hand right here and like give me details. And so Amber has actually been a part of the Chaseland Fitness program. She's been in our community, like our Facebook, the Muscles and Mommies, or Messy Buns Facebook group. She's been in there for the whole time, just cheering on other women and like just being part of the community. And it's been really cool to see. I'm like always seeing her like liking stuff. I'm like, look at you cheering on other moms. And this was before you were even part of the Chaseland Fitness program. Like you're like, yes, girl. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, Amber, yes. And so
Yeah.
then you finally you would raise your hand. You're like, hey, I want to be a part of like this actual coaching. Like, tell me what we're doing and what's going on. So my next question is like, what was that moment for you that made you say, like, I need to join Chaseland Fitness? Like, what was that moment for you that kind of came up and you're like, it's time?
You know, like I touched on just a little bit earlier, like I've been on a health journey of some degree for the last 8 years. I have done all of the diets. I've done all of the non-diets. I've gotten really serious and done all of the things all at once, and then fallen off because that's not sustainable. And I think really what it came down to for me was like, I don't want to keep doing this. I don't want to keep restarting. I don't want to keep having to find something new that's may or may not work. And also, it's not like all of those experiences only gave me negative tools, right? Like, you can know the knowledge, but if you don't know how to place it in your life, those tools aren't always beneficial. And so, for me, it was like I'm turning 30, in November, I'm turning 30 in January, and I have to figure this out. Like, I have to get ahead of this. And so when you were running the deal, I was like, you know what? Let me just see. Let me just see what the deal is. I'll see, what I can do. And it just hit me that, like, people are sticking with your program and getting results because it works, not because it looks cute, not because it's fun to have a trainer, not because of whatever, because it works. And I want to be a coach myself at some point in my life. I want to be able to coach women with that same ferocity and, energy, but I can't do it when I don't even feel that within myself. So my thing was, I already know what doesn't work. I've already done all of those things. Now I need a tool to put all the other tools to work. And it was the best decision that I've ever made for myself. Truthfully. I was sick of being sick and tired. I didn't want to be sick and tired anymore. And I knew that I could do it because I've done it so many times beforehand, but I had never been able to sustain it. And that was from the jump. What we've talked about is being consistent and doing something sustainable. I'm a mom. I'm busy. I'm running around all the time. I can't, like, hunger is real for me. I can't be starving all the time. I also want to eat real food. I don't want to live off of protein shakes. And so when we sat down and you said, "Look, there is a way to do this. It's not going to be easy. There is a way to do this that you don't have to starve yourself and you can eat real food and not be, on the edge all the time because you're so far from nourishing your body that you just lose all control." And I wanted that. And I wanted to have that sense of control and it not consume my whole life. So I was like, you know what? I threw my hands up and I said, I'm just going to take the chance. And I jumped in and I never looked back, and
Yeah.
now we're
So
2 months.
when you say, so Amber, when you say like, I just jumped in and just did it, were there any like reservations or anything that would like came up for you that you were kind of like hesitant on, whether that be like, like, were you nervous about anything? Were you like scared of anything? Like what kind of came up for you in those first kind of like conversations?
So definitely, like, let's be honest, like, money was on my mind. I'm like, oh God, like, I don't even know what a coach
Yeah.
ranges from. So that probably was the very first initial thought. But then really what it came down to for me was when I really started thinking about it, like, I had to start getting really honest about my habits and what I was doing and having to trust that you as my coach are there to guide me and support me, and it's not a judgment thing. Like, it was nerve-wracking for me to like have to put not have to, but to put all of the foods that I was eating in the tracker, you know what I mean, and mark off my workouts. I was nervous because there was so much shame that I was holding around food, my relationship with it, the choices that I was making, not staying consistent, that I didn't want to come into a new program with a coach and then feel that shame of like, what the hell are you doing? You're not sticking to your food or whatever it is. And so that was the biggest thing. I was really nervous that you were going to be like, what the hell are you doing? You know, and being really open and honest and vulnerable when, and holding myself accountable and being honest about it. It scared the shit out of me because I had already had so many negative feelings around it that I knew that there wasn't going to be judgment from you, but it
Yeah.
is scary to put your whole self out
So
there,
scary.
so
So scary. Yeah.
yeah. Totally. I was scared to be really clear and honest about what I was struggling with, and then also you see it firsthand. Um but that's very quickly faded. That very quickly faded. Because you work so much on mindset and the way we talk to ourselves and how we go about our nutrition, that it was almost silly for me to be that nervous about it, because from the jump it was clear, concise. It was, what do you want for out of this, and then here's the steps that we can do to make it happen. So the thought was much scarier, but yeah, I was afraid to be super transparent because that also meant I had to be honest and transparent with myself.
Yep. Yep. So tell me a little bit about kind of where you're at now. Like we're only a few months in. So this is kind of like you're still in like baby stages almost. But What do you feel that you have accomplished over the last, couple of months?
It is crazy how different I feel now than when we sat down and had our first phone call. Um, like, yes, I feel stronger. Yes, I, notice the changes in the mirror and the way my clothes fit. But really, I have gained the discipline to stay consistent. I have logged all of my nutrition since day one. That is a huge thing. Like, it's not that I couldn't do it, or the exercises were going to be too hard, or the nutrition piece itself was going to be too hard. It was putting it all together. And so, I have really gained an insight on, like, what I'm putting in, what I'm logging. Now I have way more of an understanding of, like, what 3 ounces of food is compared to 12 ounces of food. Now I can feel and listen to my body intuitively, instead of just like eating because I think I'm hungry when really I'm thirsty. And so it's much more like the awareness of my body and my habits that have helped me be so successful. Tracking, game changer. Game changer. It's I am it is much easier for me on a bad day to still do my workouts and stick to my nutrition than it was 2 months ago, when I was like, it's been a bad day. Screw it all. I'm eating the donuts, whatever it is. I have self-control in those moments where I can eat a piece of pizza and not hold a bunch of guilt over it. You know what I mean? I can also eat pizza and not have to eat 5 slices of pizza. So the awareness that I have over my own thoughts, feelings, actions is worlds different. And that to me is like the biggest win that I could have, because I didn't have any self-control over anything. Like, I was just eating or not eating or whatever. And so having that consistency, being able to show up every day regardless of how I feel and stick to my goal, like, it's changed everything. And I'm seeing the results of that. You know what I mean? Like, seeing the results of the consistency. It's not overnight. It did not come, in 2 workouts, but I can see it and I feel good. Like, there's not a day, even if it is a hard day, that I, feel crappy anymore, because I know that I've got my own back and I know I'm going to make the best decisions for myself. And that's the best gift I could ask for.
I love it. So what is your, like, if you could just kind of specifically, given, like, 30 seconds, like, what would you specifically say about the program that you love the most?
Oh my gosh, so many things. But I think truly, like, I think what I love the most is that I have accessibility to everything that I need. Like, I don't have to guess on anything. I can go into my portal, I can look up what I need to look up, and if for some reason it's not there, which it never is not there, I am in direct communication with you, and it holds me accountable. Like, the program holds me accountable to show up, because all of the things I need are right there. I don't have to go looking for them.
Yeah.
Even recipes. Like, sometimes, like, I'm like, I don't know what I want to do for meal prep next week. Like, I can literally go into the portal and have a whole week's worth of recipes that I want to eat, and not have to be doing a million things to figure it out. You have made
Yeah.
it so easy to be successful that literally anybody could do it. Like, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And I'm thankful for that, because I've done a million diets. I've done a million things that, like, I'm like stressed out over, because it's not clear. And so
Yeah.
everything is so clear in this program, and it's readily available. It's literally waiting for you. You just have to reach out and grab it.
Yeah, I love it. So if anyone was considering, getting support or reaching out to a coach, or even in concerns to like trying to establish like a household of health, what advice would you give them?
Go to Chase Lynn Fitness.
Okay.
but but also, you know, I think the biggest piece of advice that I could give someone is that you don't have to change everything all at once. You just have to change one thing and stick with that and then build off of that. It doesn't all have to be overnight. You can make the choice to make a change in your life and take it one step at a time, as long as you continue to show up. It's possible. It really is possible. You got to change one thing first. And then once you've got the hang of that and that's part of your normal, then you change another thing and you just keep adding the blocks. It's doable. You can do it. You just have to start. You have to start.
Yeah, I love it.
And like,
Absolutely love it.
and find a trainer for yourself too that like aligns with your morals and your beliefs. Like take the extra time to find someone who is living the kind of life and doing the kind of things that you also want to be doing. Because I think plenty of people have gone and hired a trainer and they're miserable. And it shouldn't be miserable. It should be hard work, but it should be enjoyable and you should enjoy the journey of it. So find yourself a trainer that you align with, that you're comfortable being vulnerable with. That's helped me a ton.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was a great summary, because I think it is true. Like I see that a lot too. Like I've had even clients, or even just being on coaching calls with people, or even like intro calls, right? And they're like, "What, I worked with this person and it just wasn't XYZ." And I'm like, "Okay, well," and then it breaks my heart,
Yeah.
because like being in the coaching space, like I never want that to be the thing for the people. For someone's experience, like I would never wish that on anybody, right? But I think it is super important to make sure that like we're stepping into, um, people actually going and looking for that information. So I love it. I love it. Love it. Amber,
Totally. Totally.
I love you so much. And I'm so glad we got to like share your
I love
story
you.
today. Um, and just thank you for
Thank,
taking, I just want to
thank you for
acknowledge you for
having
taking the
me.
time to share. Yeah. Oh, I think my internet.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. That's okay. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for, giving me the space to share my story and be open and honest and vulnerable. And I really appreciate it. I appreciate you. I just love the poop out of you. And I can't wait to see what the next several months have in store.
I know. Love it. All right, guys, we'll talk soon. If there's anything that landed for you guys, please comment below. We want to make sure that we are celebrating Amber, but then also too, like if there's anything that landed for you, of course we want you to take away. And so we want to hear those things from you too. So if you joined us live, absolutely glad you guys did. But comment what landed for you and what your takeaways are.